Ever get that feeling, like something's just off, like reality's got a couple screws loose that nobody's told us about?
Right.
Well, that's where we're headed today. We're diving deep into the world of the SCP Foundation.
Ah, the SCP Foundation. They're the ones dealing with those loose screws, you could say.
Exactly.
Their whole thing is that the world, well, it's chock full of anomalies, things that just don't fit with our current understanding of science, of nature.
And they're not just studying these anomalies, are they? They're containing them, which makes you think if something could rewrite the laws of physics or just unravel reality as we know it, yeah, these are the folks trying to keep it all under wraps. And today, we're looking at one of those anomalies, SCP-096.
SCP-096. Now there's a unique challenge, even for the Foundation. It's a perfect example of how something so, well, physically unremarkable.
Unremarkable.
Well, at first glance anyway.
Okay, I'll bite.
It can be incredibly dangerous.
Let's hear it. So paint the picture for us. You're part of an SCP containment team. You get sent out to some remote location, maybe the middle of the Siberian wilderness.
And there, in the middle of nowhere, you see it. Tall, emaciated figure, practically skeletal, really. But the arms?
The arms. All right, I knew those are coming. What about them?
Unnaturally long.
Yeah, we're talking about arms that are almost 5 feet long each. And here's the kicker, right? These arms are attached to something that completely loses it if you even glimpse its face.
That's the thing with SCP-096. Visual contact, even for a second, sends it into a state of extreme distress. The Foundation document even gives anyone who sees its face a designation, SCP-0961.
Which means?
It basically marks them for death.
Okay, yeah, I'm starting to get the whole don't look at it rule now. But it can't be just any look, can it? What if it's an accident? What if you see it in a photograph?
Doesn't matter. The Foundation's documented cases where people saw SCP-096's face in photographs, video recordings, even reflections. It's enough.
And the reaction is bad news for anyone who saw it. We're talking a full-on, unrelenting pursuit.
Relentless and terrifyingly effective. The document we're looking at, they actually redacted how fast this thing can move during these pursuits. If that doesn't give you the creeps, I don't know what will.
Talk about a bad hair day, huh? You see a creepy face, and suddenly you're running for your life from something that can, teleport or something.
Well, I wouldn't say teleport, but the speed, the way it covers ground, it's unpredictable. It just defies any kind of physics we understand.
Okay, so knowing all of that, the freaky appearance, the deadly reaction to being seen, how on earth do you even begin to contain something like that?
$1 million question, right? How do you contain something that just freaks out if you look at it?
Yeah, I was going to say a blindfold would be too easy, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So what's the Foundation's big solution for a creature that turns into like a homing missile the second you see its face?
You might be surprised. It's pretty low-tech, all things considered. SCP-096, they keep it in a steel box, sealed up tight.
A box. That's it.
It's not just any box, 5 meters on each side, hermetically sealed. No windows, no cameras, nothing that could let anyone see in.
So like a high-security lockbox. But how do they even know if it's still in there? Can't really knock on the door for a head count.
That's where the Foundation really gets smart. They've got pressure sensors and lasers set up inside the chamber.
Ah, so they can track its every move without actually, looking at it. Pretty clever.
It's the only way.
Still, you gotta think, it only takes one slip up, one mistake, and...
And that's what we're going to talk about next. Incident 0961A, when it all went wrong.
Okay, so this is where our deep dive gets really interesting. The document actually includes a pretty chilling first-hand account of this incident from the captain of the retrieval team. And let me tell you, reading his words, you can practically feel the terror.
Yeah, the captain's testimony is intense. It really shows you what happens when containment fails. His team was sent to bring SCP-096 back, but it seems like there was a communication breakdown somewhere along the line. They weren't fully briefed on all of the creatures, shall we say, quirks.
Quirks being one way to put it. So the captain and his team, they find SCP-096. And, well, I'm guessing someone looked.
Looks like it. The details are redacted, but yeah. SCP-096 turned, the whole squad saw its face.
And then I imagine things went south pretty quickly.
You could say that.
The captain, he describes SCP-096's cries, says they sounded exactly like a person. Really fucking creepy.
Yeah.
I'm getting chills just thinking about it.
What comes next isn't pretty. The document, it describes SCP-096 just tearing through the retrieval team. And get this, nothing they had could stop it. Guns, Even heavier stuff, useless.
Like they were shooting at it, seriously.
They brought out everything. The captain even mentions using an anti-tank missile.
An anti-tank missile. Those things are designed to blow up tanks. What happened? Did it even scratch the thing?
Barely. The document just says the missile had no effect on its bone structure. SCP-096 just kept going.
This is like straight out of a horror movie. You've got this thing practically invincible, just rampaging through the wilderness, driven by this rage, this anger that you can't even imagine. And anyone who saw its face, well, they didn't stand a chance.
The captain's account goes into detail about it, describes SCP-096 tearing apart his squad, even after being hit with everything they had.
It's one thing to read these clinical reports, but to hear it from someone who was there, who went through that, it's just chilling.
And the psychological impact, it's just as bad. The captain talks about the screams, SCP-096's screams, his men's screams. He says he'll never forget those sounds.
That's some serious trauma. It makes you wonder what you do with something like that. So we've got this thing, right? It's dangerous, practically indestructible, and could cause a global catastrophe with one look. Makes you wonder, what can you even deal with something like that?
That's the question that keeps the SCP Foundation up at night, I think. Remember their motto.
Secure, contain, protect. Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Right, well, protect gets tricky with something like SCP-096.
It's not like you can just, post warning signs everywhere. Hey, avoid eye contact with the rage monster.
And that's where the ethical debate comes in. The document, it actually mentions this Dr. Era, right? He's the one who officially pushes for SCP-096 to be terminated.
Can't say I blame him. After that captain story, termination starts to sound more like a sensible precaution than, a moral dilemma.
His argument, it boils down to risk. The risk is too big. He even talks about a chain reaction. One breach, and it's mass casualties, social breakdown, panic.
Not to mention that whole secret organization containing weird stuff thing kind of goes out the window when that stuff is tearing across a continent.
Exactly. Trying to close Pandora's box after you've already opened it, the damage would be done.
So you've got one side saying, we need to study this, figure it out, maybe even neutralize it. Then you've got the other side saying, this thing's a ticking time bomb and we're standing on the detonator.
Clash of philosophies, really. The Foundation's all about understanding the unknown, but then you've got this very real, very terrifying threat to balance that against.
And the document, it just stops, mentions the termination order, but it's dated for the future. We never find out what they decided.
Which leaves us in the same boat as the Foundation, really. Do you focus on containment, hope you can understand it someday, maybe even neutralize it? Or do you go for safety first, even if it means destroying something that could hold incredible scientific potential?
Tough call. And it makes you think about the SCP Foundation, the line they walk every day. I mean, they're dealing with stuff that's beyond us, stuff that could unravel our whole reality. And they're doing it all quietly, making these choices that affect everyone, while the rest of us are clueless.
It makes you wonder what else is hidden in their archives. What other impossible decisions are they wrestling with right now at this very moment?
And that's where we'll leave you today. Next time you think about the things that go bump in the night, think about the SCP Foundation. They're out there, in the shadows, keeping the really weird, scary stuff at bay.